So people always ask me for a case study. What's a great case study, Robert, that really would demonstrate the power and the importance of investing in IP? Not only for a better return at lower risk, but actually having the kind of impact that you're talking about. And I always give them my PCR example. And I give that to them because people know PCR. During the pandemic, we all had to take the PCR test to determine if we had the virus in our bodies. PCR won the Nobel Prize in chemistry, and I invested in PCR, Polymerase Chain reaction, back when it was a new thing. At that time, 20 plus years ago, you couldn't see the DNA in the body. So to be able to see the virus, which has a DNA sequence, you need to be able to see that sequence. Well, you couldn't. So polymerase chain reaction is a machine called the thermal cycler and materials that will catalyze a reaction if you put DNA in a test tube, and will actually amplify that DNA, turn the needle into a haystack. Within a matter of minutes, it'll make millions of copies. And so now I can actually see the sequences there, whereas before I couldn't, I was blind to it. So it won the Nobel Prize because it created the biotech industry, and it unlocked tremendous ability to not only detect disease, right, through seeing the DNA, but genetically begin to come up with solutions because you can see the DNA. So it's a revolution in medicine, actually, that's been spawned by PCR. And so I like to tell people that story to give them a sense of the kinds of things that I've done. In that case, here's a company, it was called PerkinElmer at the time, and it became Applied Biosystems, that had to make a choice. I've got this diamond in my pocket. Do I share it? Or do I build a business where I can build a business with the team I have and the plan I have, the business plan, and have one outcome for my business? Or do I share it and create many ventures, many teams, many business plans, many outcomes? And a decision was made to go ahead and share the diamond in their pocket. So they shared PCR, and they had two reasons for it. One was it was so valuable to humanity that it would be a sin to hold it in their pocket and not share it, right? It would change, it would save lives. That was decision point number one. A great noble way of making a decision to help the world. Second was they realized that if they held that diamond in their pocket, they realized that because it had so much value, people would either steal it, which would jeopardize their business, their corporate stores they were going to build just themselves. But if they didn't steal it, they would have to come up with another way to do it, and they might come up with something better. And because what they had was revolutionary, why not share it with the world? Share it in a protected way so we don't lose access to it. Share it so that people would pay us rents for its use. So now we have an asset that has value that protects the company and our investors, asset-backed. Now we have an income stream because we have an asset we're going to scale. We're no longer wedded to the outcome of our one team, our one plan, and the capital we have, right? Nobody's going to give us capital to go franchise this business. They want us to build our own stores in venture capital land. But over in IP capital land, with my model, and this company is a great example, we chose to go ahead and provide dozens of manufacturers with a license to go ahead and actually make these thermocyclers, these machines, and the materials that would allow you to do PCR. And so over the course of a decade, we generated over $2 billion in rents from using the IP, turning a venture investment into an IP investment, turning one investment with one outcome into a grand slam because many of those companies were wildly successful. They not only had an impact everywhere in the world, right? And we reached the world with our technology, but it created a much better, much greater outcome for the company, for its people, for its investors, and for our nation. That's how America was built, sharing its IP around the world. People don't realize, and they don't realize the paradox. The paradox is that by sharing, you're actually protecting what you have. And by sharing, you're actually going to create a greater economic opportunity for yourself, your nation, your investors. And so that's lost on a lot of people. PCR really is a great case study for why IP capital, not venture capital, will help change the course of a nation.